Thank you so much for being here, for every person in the room, for the live audiences, and for everybody streaming right now. Thank you so much for being here. And so without any further ado, I'm going to welcome the first out of the 3 guests that we're going to be having to speak to us today on the Legacy Roundtable. And the first person we are having is Toni Sanni. Can we give a round of applause? Woo! Super excited to have you here. She is somebody, we know her as Toni Tones on Instagram, right? And we're super excited to have her on the Legacy Roundtable as one of the people. I mean, you can see the space. One out of the many people. Now, the second person I'm calling is somebody that has been on the podcast before. I mean, we had a very beautiful conversation on politics and believers. And this is no other person than Sir Alex Adekunle James. Can we give a round of applause? Super, super excited to have you for a second time. Thank you so much for being here. And I want to call on the last person that I think I've referred to him before as the community's favorite, because the first time he came, he was requested to, other people requested that he comes on the platform again. And this will be like his 3rd time engaging with us. So I would love to welcome Pastor Ogwe. Such an honor to have you, sir. Yes, the roundtable is complete. Everybody is here, and I'm super excited that you are all here with me today, and we're celebrating this a marking year, the 5th year of saying yes to this call. And I can say that it's not been the most easiest ride, but we are here today, and I'm glad that we have each and every one of you here celebrating with us. So we're just going to dive right in. Edition of this Together in Worship is Legacy. So I would like us to start from Sir Alex and just tell us, what is legacy to you? For some people, it's something you leave behind. For some people, it's something that you leave as you go. So what is legacy to you?
Thank you very much. So good to be here. I would say that when the word legacy is said, first thing that pops to my mind is our late past President Muhammadu Buhari. And I'll tell you why, because in the last one he passed away a week ago. The dailies have been flooded, and TV has been flooded with his legacy. Everybody has been talking about what he did in his life, and every single thing that he had done till now is being immortalized. I mean, there's nothing that can change any of that anymore. And that got me thinking recently. I see how in different media outlets have been piecing apart his life. Piecing apart everything he has done in his life. And that just brought this. That's like the latest thing on my mind when it comes to legacy. Just got me thinking that everything that you do eventually would be immortalized, would become something that would live on even after you passed. So that I think that I'll just stop there.
That's such a beautiful perspective. Something that you live on even after you've passed. How about you, Lady T?
So I think for me, legacy and it's so interesting that he said that, because I was actually going to start with that. I was like, what are the odds that this conversation has happened throughout this week, right? Because it was a big thing, everybody thinking about legacy and all that. And for me, I think it just means to live a good life.
Yeah.
It means, period, just live a good life, because at the end of the day, you only live once.
That's true.
I'll go on and I'll continue as we go on, but yeah, just live a good life.
To live a good life. That's amazing. And I think that's even as simply as you can put it, right? To live a good life. How about you, Pastor Ogwe?
So for me, I think that legacy is living your life, like she said, living a good life, and realizing that the value of our lives, or the impact of our lives, really, really will be measured by those who have felt what we have done. And so even when we are gone, or while we are still here, I don't think that legacy has to wait till we die and we go. I think legacy is about who so living a good life and people being able to attest that you indeed lived a good life, not just for self, but for others as well.
As well. Beautiful. Thank you, Pastor Ogwe. We are going to talk about legacy across different spaces. We're talking about it in family, talking about it in politics, or let me not even say politics, in public governance, right? And we're talking about it in our careers as well. So what is that one legacy? Let's bring it home. What is that one legacy that your parents must have left you that you would want to carry on to your children? What's that one legacy? If you can think about it. I mean, there are times where there are things that we know that, yes, that we must heal from. But while I believe that we have family curses, as popular as that is, we also have family blessings. So what legacy would you say from your own family that you would like to pass to your children?
So I believe that a lot of times legacy can also be influence, subtle influence. And whether people like it or not, they are being influenced, they are being sucked into a certain, and that's why we have culture, we have different jurisdiction or different area accustomed to certain things. Yeah, so I would say that to answer your question, I believe that one of the biggest things among so many other things that I admire from my parents and that we're trying to live up to is consistency in spiritual devotion. I mean, for like 20 years straight, I don't think there's a day that we don't have morning devotion. Anything dramatic or theatrical, it's like consistency, and it's something that I believe that in our generation I need to also learn and imbibe and copy beyond just even me and my family.
You know, when you said it has been for the past 20 years, there was no time you missed morning devotion, it made me remember, for us it's not morning, it's actually night, where we have to come together and pray, and it's always by 9 o'clock. So wherever you are, if you're if one person is in the toilet, everybody's going to meet the person there, and we're going to pray there. So that's consistency. So no matter what it is, even if you're in Kafanchan, once it's 9 p.m., you know that you're going to receive a call, right? And that is such a beautiful legacy to pass on. How about you, Lady T?
So for me, it's closeness. So I come from a family which is very small. I mean, my nuclear family, we weren't really like, we have extended family members. My parents kept it really small. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the memes of when it's like, I'm at the airport, me, I'm a 30-year-old lady at the airport telling my mom I've just arrived.
Yes.
That's how it is. As soon as my dad gets on the plane, it doesn't matter where he is, I've just boarded my flight. Everybody's aware of where
you
at any point,
exactly.
anywhere in the world. And it goes across the world. No matter where I am, I even ask selfies.
Right.
So it's one of those things I think that just having
family group.
the family group is popping, it's active.
Right.
So I would say, just that closeness with my family. So I definitely want to pass it on to my children to let them know that my parents were not the kind of parents that told me that, oh, don't do this or don't do that. I didn't really have such a strict upbringing.
Yeah.
Because my parents lived their lives when they were young. So when I started to grow up, they're like, this girl, you're staying at home. What's happening? You're not going out. So they wanted me to go out. But that also left the openness. So my parents were not judgmental. They were not like, oh, if anything happens to you, it wasn't like, oh, if you get pregnant. I never got that, oh, if you get pregnant.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have that. No. It was just like, whatever it is, just come and let us know. So we've always just had that closeness. So just, I know that I can call my mom and be like, bro, the worst has happened. And maybe but I'm safe. So just being a close safety net is what I want to pass on.
Do you think that it's the presence of judgment in families that cause young people or the children in the family, when they grow older, they just tend to want to distance themselves from their parents?
I've actually been thinking about this a lot because now I have a child. I have 2 children, and I think about how, first of all, I think it's human nature. So if we look back at the Bible, we start from Adam and Eve, right? And when the whole thing happened, they went to hide. How did they know to hide? Do you understand?
Yeah.
How did they know that, oh, we've sinned, now we need to go and hide, we need to cover ourselves? What about them? I think it's a natural instinct that we have to then allow people to be like, you don't have to hide around me, right? So
Yeah.
I think it's more of a natural instinct. I don't think it's something that anybody can control. I think it's the way we have the instinct to breathe, the same way we have an instinct to cover ourselves if somebody's attacking.
Yes.
I think it's a natural. That's what I think.
That's actually very beautiful. Thank you so much. How about you, Pastor? Okay.
So I am supposed to be the pastor on this panel.
Aha. Okay.
I'm supposed to be the one to talk about the morning devotion thing.
Oh, okay.
But now they've stolen my spot. So. I think for me, it's the dignity of labor, right? I think that's one thing that I picked from my dad, and I would want to pass on to my children. My father had opportunities in life, and he did okay for himself, but there was always this perspective of it's better to have 10 naira honestly
Yeah.
than to have 10 million dishonestly. So
Yeah.
that dignity of proper honest labor, that whatever my hands find to do, I will do it well, and it will be my work. It will be what I do. I wouldn't feel ashamed. My dad had a habit of getting angry at blue collar workers, like plumbers, and
Yeah.
if they spoke in a way that downplayed the work they were doing.
They were doing. Mm-hmm.
You know, that
Yes.
that is what would upset him. You know, when you say, oh, you know, you are the big man, and it's like, what does that mean? What do you mean by I'm the big man? Because you are a plumber. If you are a plumber, own it, do your work. So that dignity of labor is something I would like to transfer to my children.
Amazing dignity of labor. It then brings me to this question, or this thought that we have, that there's no way you can become so rich without playing dirty. What do you think about that? Let's start with Lady T. You were already turning that way.
Money back.
It's a tough question, hey, because we live in Nigeria. We are
Yes.
seeing things, right? And there are different conversations about how you really can't make it to the top except you're rubbing hands with certain people.
Exactly.
So I don't know the answer to that question, because I just think that life, unfortunately, as demand has fallen, as everything has happened, we just live in a very horrible world. Because if we look at statistics, if we look at great men, they have their hands in pretty dirty.
Yes, they do.
Right? So it's like, I don't know that. I cannot say for a fact that there is a way to get to the top. Yes, God can take you to the top and you can be great, but when we look at the richest men
In the world.
those men have done crazy things. They do. Donald Trump. They have a lot of
We're naming names and I love it.
those are the people at the height of power.
Yes.
Right? So we do have people that make it to an extent, but to get to where those people are, they do things. So
We'll leave it at that.
I don't know.
Yes, Mr. Alex.
I think that this might just be a matter of exposure, or what we know.
Yeah.
Because I know people that are stupendously wealthy, that are Christians to the core, that don't necessarily do anything bad or wrong.
Yeah.
What might just be different is, look at the narrative of Solomon in the Bible. If you pick up your phone and Google the richest man that ever lived, you'll see
Yeah. The black man.
one Muslim.
Yeah, some guy, I know the guy, I can't remember.
Somebody should help me. I don't know why.
Someone help him.
Is it an African?
Yes, one
African.
It's one
African Muslim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the guy before.
This guy, it's not true. King Solomon is the richest man to have ever lived, because
Yeah.
if you go and study that scripture and try to find the value of the wealth that he had. So I believe that first of all, there's an agenda to suppress the narrative of Christian being wealthy. Number two, Christians themselves are humble people, and I think it's also biblical. We have a lot of Christians, because Bible also trains us as Christians to not be so loud, to not be so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, when you even do things, when you give, the Bible says you should not let your
Left hand.
I think that generally might keep a lot of people, because more than 10 years ago, I was in a redemption camp myself. They didn't tell me, I heard it myself. And the Adekunle said, that if a teenager should stand over a counter to see how much redeem is worth, the person will faint. I heard him, I said, they didn't tell me. About like 10 years ago. And we see that the richest pastor, for example, in the world is from Nigeria. The only reason why we know is because he declared his asset. There are so many, and maybe not just even pastors, there are so many Christians. I know somebody very close to me, very, very close to me, that you would not even know that this person, there's anything special about this person, but she's in the top 10 highest earning women in Nigeria.
Amazing.
She's a very basic person. And because God literally, she had a prophecy in church that you're going to get a job. In fact, at the job interview, when they asked her what was the salary expectation, she had multiplied what she wanted to say by like 10. And then she was like, thank God she didn't say it, because when she hesitated, they were like, okay, would you manage this? Which was another like times 20 or what she wanted to say, which was times 10 or what she wanted to say. So I think that a lot of Christians are doing well. But we just don't, there's not much publicity around it.
Yeah, and sorry, just to clarify, I think he has answered the question, because off the top of my head, when you said that, I was thinking numbers. I was like, all these people, but then he's right, because a lot of Christians just actually talk about it. So I do think that, yeah, he's correct. You can be wealthy as a Christian, and it's just, we're just not allowed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think I'm not going to try to answer, but I will just sermonize a little bit. Again, pastor. Anyway, my I think here I would say that many times this question comes up because people have a definition of wealthy that is unhealthy. You know, when you are going after money for the sake of money, you will do anything for the money, because there is nothing that defines what rich is and what wealthy means to you. So when someone, for instance, this was like 2017, someone asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I told him, happily married and comfortable. And he said, oh, you're not ambitious enough. And I asked him, do you know what it takes to be happily married? Like,
Really?
there's a lot of money that has to go into that, and there's a lot of things. So these other things around our lives help us define how far is too far and what is worth it. Like, is it worth it to steal just so that I can have some money in the house? I have some money now. Do I really need to steal this extra money? If the cost of stealing this extra money is that I have to keep looking over my shoulder every other day. So I think for the Christian, there must be not just for the Christian, to be honest, there must be a general definition of what wealth and rich is, that then helps you know, okay, can I be rich without playing dirty? Because for how I always say it in church is, some of us, our parents are rich, but then there's Dangote that's also rich. And so the definition of rich will always shift depending on context. And so, yes, you can, like somebody played dirty to get 10 million naira and he thought he was rich.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you have to just define, like, what is wealth and how far is too far. So
I love that we've already transited into talking about legacy and career. So I'd like that we just expound on it a little bit, right? So let's talk to young people. So talk to me, right? As a young person, I'm trying to find my way, find my foot in my career. And I'm seeing things that would make me want to do things that deviates from my values as a Christian. And when I say deviate, I'm not talking about, oh, you have to kill somebody or you have to, like, it's just tweak this document, do this. It doesn't seem like such a big deal, but it's just against what you stand for as a Christian. And very importantly, you are in a space where it seems like you don't have options. So everybody, you have your family at your back. They're trying to pull you. They're talking at you. Oh, we need this, we need that, we need that. You're just in that space. And then you have somebody offering you something that you know, you doing that thing to get that job or to get that particular offer is totally wrong. It's against your values, but you will not see it as a big thing. What do you say to them?
First of all, I think that it all just goes back to and I'll take his preaching hat for a minute, and I'll say it all just goes back to our faith in God, because at the end of the day, you are a Christian first, right? You have to realize that, yes, why are you working? Because you want to be paid, right? Because your parents after you, because they probably need provision, or they want this, or you want to go to this particular ladder. God is the foundation of your life. God is the person that has written your life. God is your provider. So if you're in a place where you're thinking that, okay, because for you to tweak that document, you're taking power into your own hands. Okay, I want to tweak documents so that I can go to this particular place. But you have to be able to stick out your guns and say that I'm not doing this. And whatever happens, it's fine. And it's probably, you might get fired.
Oh, definitely.
I have to understand that it is what it is. You might get fired, you might not get fired, but at the end of the day, you walk with your conscience knowing that you did the right thing. Because you cannot, if you're on the other end and you're like, okay, I did it, everybody else is doing it, now you have a heavy conscience.
Yes.
And we have gotten to a place, like you said, you have played dirty to get to the point where you're going. You don't have to play dirty. You have a God that you don't need any of that. So it's tough. It's a tough place to be, but you always have to commit to doing the right thing.
Yeah. So I want to shift a bit from that question so that I can now move it to Mr. Alex, right? And there was this meme I saw. The person said, we have so many prayer platforms, but yet in the workplace, there are so many wicked Christians. Yeah. What do you say about that?
All right. I'll start by addressing that first question.
Okay.
That question, I get to this one. And I'll say that I think that decision has been made before you are posed to that situation.
Right.
It's largely out of your hands at the moment that it happens. And how do you make that decision? If the scripture says that your word have I hid in my heart, I might not sin against you, I believe that if you don't have enough of God's word, and I'm even talking from practical experience, because the standard keeps shifting. The farther you go away from the word, from your devotion, the farther the standard shifts. Like you were saying that it's just to sign a document, and then sometimes a lot of Christians will be like, but it's not. I'm not stealing.
I'm not the one that took the money.
Yes, you just signed.
So it shifts, but the more, and I've noticed the stronger you get with your devotion with God, the tighter the standards get. The more the Holy Spirit will convict you of even things that you would not have thought twice there was anything wrong with it. So if you stick to your guns with your Christianity, if you actually are a Christian to the core, you take your devotional life seriously, take time to read your Bible, pray, do all of those things. Naturally, when you are faced with such situation, it will be a walk in the park. I mean, easily, it's not even be as much a temptation. It's not, because your heart is already filled with. But if you are constantly filled with content from like social media, so many pressure, this one is buying Range Rover today, this one is celebrating this, and then that's what your heart is. You would have signed it before you will be in trouble before you realize.
Yes.
Maybe EFCC would have carried you before you realize, so I did something wrong. So I think that is where a lot of people need to understand when it comes to compromising your values.
Your values, That's okay.
Okay, so I will not add to what Pastor Alex has said, because at this point there's another pastor here. Then I will speak to people being wicked in the workplace, and I'll attribute it to two things, right? The first, unfortunately, is I'm a pastor, so the fault of my colleagues. So there is a way that we have raised lily-livered Christians, people who do not understand that in this world there will be tribulations. And so that lack of expectation of suffering drives people into survival mode whenever at the slightest hint of discomfort, and so it's kill or be killed, and unfortunately a lot of people will kill. And that's what makes people wicked in the office. And it doesn't even help that we have slants like there's a church I used to go to that they would say, turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor look at me now. The next time you see me, you have to sign to see me. And so
Yes.
we're pushing a mentality of dog eat dog, a mentality of I will be bigger than you in future.
Yeah.
And so when the average, there's something called power differential index, right? And the average Nigerian, like the power differential index in Nigeria is so high that the average Nigerian seeks power at all costs.
Yes.
And that's why a security man, just because of the little power he has to open the gates, right, would abuse that power.
Exactly.
And these are things that from the pulpit we should try and address. And the second reason why a lot of people are wicked at the office is just like what Pastor Alex said. Just lack of devotion. Honestly, sometimes, have you ever seen someone do something and like, did you pray this morning? Like, did you, like, what prayer life allows you behave like this?
Yeah.
You know?
But there's some people that would kabash for 2 hours and then go on ahead to, insult the next person they see.
So now, point number one.
Yeah.
Mentality, the mentality that they've been trained into.
Yeah.
That mentality that does not allow for suffering, that does not allow for humility. The definition of humility in the African context is let other people brag for you, don't brag.
Yes. That's it.
Do you get?
That's
So I will show as much as I can, but just not so much that people now say, you're showing off too much. So it's generally a mindset problem, to be honest. And in the end, it's the gospel that will fix it.
Yeah.
It's the gospel properly preached that would fix it and change the lives of people. And if I'm going to add a third point, is that the heart of man is desperately wicked. Who can know it? And so even after the gospel has done its work, after Jesus has walked on the earth for 3.5 years, there will still be Judas who will sell him out.
Yes.
So yeah.
If I may also add,
Pastor Alex. I'm just joking.
I know if I may add, I think that Nigeria, our Christianity is, holistically speaking, is not as deep as much as
Not
as much as
very
it's wide.
shallow.
Yes.
And my
It's
pastor,
not as deep as much as it's wide.
Yes.
like we have
Come on. Yes.
Some people will say we are several kilometers wide and a few
Yeah.
inches deep.
Yeah.
that.
Point. Is anybody
Thank you,
noting it
Madam.
yet? Right.
And then I believe that just like my pastor, Apostle Manarian said recently, and I think it was very profound. It was trying to analyze seasons and he talked about that when Christianity came into Nigeria, it was a lot. I mean, there were a lot of altars that needed to be destroyed. So Christianity at that time was power. There was not much word. If you don't have power, you're not coming to your church. You need to break stronghold, destroy demonic oaths, both on individuals, on rich cities, and then that was the generation. There was no emphasis, there was no depth really. And then we come into this generation where, like my apostle have said, that it is a season for discipleship where people need to actually grow in the world and be mature Christian, and that after all the demons has been casted out, so what next?
What next?
This is what is next. We need to actually disciple, because I have a friend, a very good friend. I mean, he used to be my best friend. We were in school together, we were in the same hostel, and then we served together. We were posted to the same place, we served together. Very solid guy. In fact, he'll give me prophecy on
Spot
point,
on.
very spot on. And then we located to the US, and maybe like 7 years down the line, he's telling me that I don't think I'm a Christian anymore. I think that Christianity is too myopic. I'm like, you. So and then I had a long conversation. I'm just trying to understand what really happened. So I just discovered that our Christianity was more of a bargain. We want prosperity.
Yes.
And it's not necessarily even the problem. It's not the fault of the body of Christ. It's the fault of the country, because things are so hard.
Yes.
And then people have to now look to God for food, for things that naturally in other countries they don't need to pray. People don't need to pray for what to eat, even if you don't have a job. You don't need to pray for what to eat. You don't need to pray for where to live. But those things now dominate our Christianity. That there's not even time. If there's no really time to address. I saw an excerpt this morning where a pastor was saying that this is the worst tenure you have seen, because if 100 people calls him every day, 99 of them are begging for food. So how do you want to preach to somebody that is hungry?
Yeah.
So I think that's where the problem is.
I think another thing that converts is, you said something about when Christianity first came to Nigeria, there were already powers ruling, right? And the relationship that Nigerians had with those powers were transactional. So they were not relating with those powers because they needed the father to, no, they were looking for, okay, if I come to you, if I give you this, you're going to give me this. So I think somehow it's been interpreted the same way we relate with God. So when we're talking with God, we just wanted to, if you now look at the older generations, let's even leave this particular generation, older ones, they're talking about, oh God, if I do this for you, you're going to give me this. It's just very transactional, and this is leading us into, I think, one of the topics we've not really touched on, which is mentorship. We have a lot of people that are just winging it, just going on their own, however it comes, and then when it seems like someone is trying to direct them, someone is trying to just say, okay, no, you don't do this, I've gone through this path, it's not going to work for you, go through this way, and they're like, no, you're not allowing me to be creative, you're not allowing me to shine. So what would you say to somebody that is in that space right now? Anybody that is trying to help them, they're just keeping their distance because they feel you're going to restrict them.
I mean, everything you said is so heavy, but I would say that be humble, first of all, because I think the main issue, especially with the particular generation, which I'm not going to name, is the humility.
Okay, they've gotten
because it just feels like, we want to do it because we know how to do it. But the generation that has done this, we're on TikTok, we're doing all these things, we're doing all these amazing things, and it's like, you guys had to work 20 years to achieve this. Now I just posted, a few TikToks and I've achieved.
Yes.
So I think that it's a humility problem. And because the reason why you don't want to listen to it's two things: a humility problem and there's a heart problem. I think that a lot of people are on the religious aspect. There's a lot of church hurt. There's a lot of parental hurt. People passed down. We were in a generation that we took religion from our parents. Our parents, they took it also from their parents, but there was also the revival and all that. But most of us have taken it from that generation. And if our parents didn't get it right, a lot of people saw their parents doing crazy things and they're like, I don't want to live this life, so there's nothing you can tell me. I have a friend whose dad is a pastor, and he's does not believe, he's not a Christian at all, and he keeps saying that there's nothing that you can tell me that I've not heard, right? So there's a lot of hurt, and I believe his case is hurt. There's a lot of hurt that people are carrying on, and they don't want anybody to come and tell them what I don't want to get to it. And then there's the humility part where it feels like, we don't need to hustle. You guys are doing all these extra things. We just need to do a few things here and there, and and then a lot of young people, again, there's the rush to achieve. I saw a young person who was I was in Canada at the time, and this guy was in the US, was doing his master's. He came to visit, and he was saying that Nigeria is so hard, and he was like, if I was in Nigeria right now, I would be into fraud. And I could not believe that he said that, because I'm thinking, how can you say that you'll be into fraud? Because you do not feel like you're looking for the quick way. Because what happens to having a business? What happens to working a regular 9 to 5? What happens to working your way up? Literally like 5-7 years ago, we believed in work. When I started working, we were working our way up. Nobody's working their way up anymore.
The up is right now. It has to be right now. Yeah.
This is the issue. There is a rush. There is a haste. And people do not want to understand. People do not want. That's why girls are also saying that I cannot date anybody that does not have XYZ. I cannot do anything that's happening. It is because they can't even speak clear English. They can't even, they can't even pronounce themselves. They can't even speak properly. But they want somebody that's already there. You cannot offer them anything, but you want somebody that's already there. Because it's now. It has to be now.
It has to be now.
So we have just a haste and a hurt and a just humility problem.
Mr. Alex, what do you say to that?
Well, I don't have much to say, so I'll let the pastor talk. I think that is just the wisdom thing. If you are a smart person, you need mentorship. It's simple, and I think that so far this earth consist of we have smart people and we have foolish people. About that. So the foolish people,
there's really nothing we can do about that.
If you want to go far, you need mentor, whatever industry, and if you're not getting it, you're just not smart.
Right.
Okay. Sorry to them.
Okay, Pastor So, okay.
Okay, so I think everything that has been said is extremely valid. I want to come at it from another perspective, and it is we live in an overexposed generation.
Yes.
So I'm considering that I pastor people that earn, you meet a young person, oh, how much do you earn every month? And you hear a young girl, a young boy, 25, 26, I earn 2.5 million.
Yeah.
And then you consider that there are many bank managers that have 20 years of career
Experience.
that
With
don't
3
earn
kids.
that amount with 3 kids. There is an overexposure in our generation. And I don't think that we can underexpose this generation, not with the AI revolution that is coming. And so this brings me to what I think has to be done. I once heard a preacher, it was Joshua Selman, that said, this generation is very unforgiving of mediocrity. I think it's true. I think it's true. And I think that for those of us or for people who have gone ahead or who should be mentors, we should realize that we can't get away with mediocrity anymore. This is, in our parents' generation, they would say things like, this trended a while ago.
Okay.
A preacher came up, he said monkeys cannot get the banana from the banana tree. And so that's why anybody that sees a person with a monkey would say, who dash monkey?
Banana.
And then our generation, this one we live in, just quickly brought out their phones as he's saying it on the stage. And they're like, is it true that monkeys cannot? And boom, right there you have. And so we have in a generation that has serious access to information. You have to prove to this generation that you have something to offer them that they cannot get from the internet. And I think that's the difficult thing to do. So it's on one hand, like he said, a foolish person does not see the need for mentorship. But on the other hand, many people are not foolish. They just don't see people who are good enough to mentor them. We must become valuable enough to mentor people.
Right. Like that just left me speechless, because that is the word right there. You must become valuable enough to mentor someone. And I think that is the problem we have. It seems like we have a lot of people that can talk the talk but cannot walk the talk.
Yes.
Right. So to anybody that would want to at any point in time be a mentor to someone, you have to be valuable enough. And that you rightly said, we don't tolerate mediocrity anymore in this generation. Unlike other generations that you could just say A is equals to Z and they were like, yes, that is what. But right there,
they will just Google
they will
it.
just quickly. And I'm saying this because I know I've done it before. So if you're saying it, I'm like, no, I don't think that doesn't resonate.
And that's the positive, to be honest. Sorry, it's cut you short. That's the difference between your generation and also the older generation. Because it's something I really admire, because I see Gen Zs, and they don't take no finance.
Yes.
Oh, we do. We took it plenty times.
A lot of times.
So I think it's really, really interesting, and it's really, but again, it's a double-edged sword. Because at the end of the day, when you become so audacious, then you move. It gets to the point of pride. It gets to the point of you cannot listen to, and nobody can talk to you.
Nobody can talk to you.
And that's why
That's
they fall into
true.
pits. They have so many issues because. No, you can't tell them what to do. But everybody at some point needs to be able to listen to wisdom. Someone should be able to tell you what to do.
That's true. So I think let's just end it or wrap it up with this. So starting from Mr. Alex, and it goes this way. What is one thing, one impact, or one legacy that you are leaving? No, let's not make it one. Let's make it two. Okay. 2 things that you're not. We're not trying to be falsely humble, but this is actually what you're working towards. This is what you're leaving with you as you're going, or anyone interacting with you, they know that this is what you're all about, right? 2 things that are your legacy moments. Like you can look at these things and say, yes, this is my legacy.
The church boy in me.
Okay.
I want to just say, the Lord, to God be the glory. But one of the things, in line with what the conversation that is currently ongoing about mentorship and all of that, I was going to add before your question came in that maybe my sector, it's a bit different, because the internet cannot help you And a lot of in politics and governance and in development, generally speaking. And this is because we've seen a lot of young people fall into the trap, because you think all of what you learn from Harvard or politics schools and School of Economics from the West can help you, but Nigeria has a peculiar terrain when it comes to participation. That's why we see a lot of young people have tried to run for offices. They've gone to learn politics and governance from Harvard. They come back with their dollars and run for office, and then when they lost, they pack what is remaining and go back. And I was saying at an event some days ago that how come I've seen a lot of books on almost every book that young people write about politics, how they ran for office and lost. You know, I can give you like 10 books, and I'm just like, wow, this is a pattern here. But the truth is that most people would not. First of all, the people that would have mentored young people into getting office in Nigeria, they won't see, young people won't see eye to eye with them. Yeah, they're not able to separate politics from governance. So they are terrible at governance, but we cannot deny the fact that they are good with politics.
Yes,
very, very good. And maybe not as we see it as I mean, everything is corruption. They just steal the ballot box. But there are a lot of things that go into it that are just beyond the surface. So now, to answer your new question, I embarked on a research to fill that gap, to answer that question. How can young people actually participate? How can young people get into offices, get into political office in Nigeria? Because everything is wired against young people. You need to run for governorship. For instance, if you don't have like 2 billion or 2 to 5 billion, don't even bother, because you
in Naira.
Naira, yes.
That's a very important question.
maybe that's even gone up now, because you know this
It
was
would
based
have.
on, you know, and then young people that how many years ago did we just finish NYC that we're going to lay our hands on
5
billion
to just use for politics that you might not even
that
win,
you might not. That's even the crazy
that
part.
you might not even win, you know. So how do we crack that code? So I embarked on like 3 years intense research. I co-authored the book with the special advisor to the president on political matters at the time, Senator Babafemi Ojudu, and then I embarked on a deep research that took like 3 years. I even interviewed like the top 10 youngest political office holders to say, how did you do it? Because we have people in their late 20s that are in government, that ran for offices and they won, you know, and put the work together at the end of the day and publish the book. That's one of the legacy I believe that I left behind, because anybody that actually reads that book or goes through that work would truly identify that, okay, this is some quality work. And I know it's one of the things I'm most proud of. But I know that that's one of the legacy that I'll leave behind. And secondly has to do with my assignment from God, I believe. It's getting Christian to participate, to get more, to flood the social impact space, development space,
Getting Christians.
Yes, getting Christians to dominate politics and governance in order to transform Nigeria. And I think that I'm on that path. I mean, we're still scratching the surface. There's a lot to be done, but I know that it will be one of the legacy that I'll also be behind.
Yeah.
It's just that time will fail us, but I would have loved for you to really, or for us to really dwell on that part of Christians being involved in public leadership, in governance, but we don't have time. But I would just say that let's just hold on to that. So if you're here in this room or you're just watching live, right, it's important. There was an election that happened in Lagos some weeks past, and we didn't even know.
Last weekend.
Yes, last weekend, yes. And it was just the information to be at home, don't come out, oh, something might happen, that made us aware that, oh, this was what was happening. But when I found out, I felt bad. I was like, I'm talking about participating in public leadership and knowing what exactly is going on, but yet something as little as local government, and we're not even aware.
Yeah.
But that's a conversation for another day. Well, let's hear it, Lady T.
Well, you know, this is so tough because I've gone after him, and he has said so many things about politics and things like that, and I'll just bring it down. I mean, for me, again, it's still significant.
Yes.
But for me, I think that I've definitely, if I would, leave the earth right now, I think one of my legacies would be just in the mental health space.
Yeah.
I think that I've tried to really communicate about it in my little way. So for whatever reason, I don't know why this has happened to me, but I have somehow been in rooms where I've physically stopped people from killing themselves. I just walked into places and I would just see somebody that's about to. It's happened to me.
That's
4 times.
amazing.
Wow.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
The most random thing, the first time was in a room like this. I'll give the example. So you see how the stair goes up. So we were in my first year of uni. It was probably my first month of uni. And I was in a house with this girl. She was a Nigerian girl, very wealthy girl, by the way. And I'm going up the stairs. I've just come back. I was ready to eat, ready to chill for the weekend.
Yeah.
And she's up there. And I see her standing there. She's staring, but she's just doing things. And I'm wondering, okay, I just want to go to her, whatever she's doing. And then she starts tying this skipping rope. Okay. I'm like, okay, I'm still walking up. And she puts it around my neck.
Oof.
And I'm up there and I drop my food and I'm like, wait. And she's like, if you come close to me. And she had this, glass look on her face. And she's like, if you come close to me, I'm going to jump. I'm going to do
Oh my
it. So
God.
I'm still walking towards her. And I just grab onto her. And I start screaming. So she's already trying to go to the edge.
Yeah.
So she's come off the edge. So if you see how that, the space under the stairs. So I'm holding onto her like that. And I'm screaming. And then people come and it was a whole thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, she came down, blah, blah, blah. We got her. And another time, just for the sake of it, I'm awake. I go on Instagram and I just see somebody post an angel. I go up. She's also in the same building as me. I go upstairs. I'm like, I mean, if you see somebody post an angel, I don't think that it would occur to you that this was happening. I go to the room. And she's not there. I'm knocking. What's going on? She's not there. Eventually, I'm shouting, please. And I realize she's she locked herself in the bathroom. And then she eventually comes out, she's crying. And I find out that she had pills in her hand.
Oh my God.
And she was going to swallow them. And it happened again. This time I was in Nigeria. She was there. I called her. She was in the house. I was in Nigeria, in the US. And I just wake up at 1 a.m. And I just see she's posted something weird. And she had taken the pills. I was the one that called her family members that were inside the house with her that did not know, from Nigeria.
Ooh.
And it's so weird to me because I don't know why this has consistently happened. But I would say that it has also, I've also lost a very close friend to suicide, which was really tough because I'm like, I said those people, why didn't I know about this guy? And this was like, but I think that it's something that I've really, really taken seriously now going into postpartum mental health. I try to talk to my friends, I talk to women and tell them about the fact that going through pregnancy is a trip.
Definitely.
And the women that go through it, and in Nigeria, we do not talk about mental health enough. Now we're getting there. Even talking about men's mental health, it's a big deal. Because the statistics say men are the ones that kill them, take their lives more than men. Women, at least we can talk. But until now,
at least we can talk.
At least we can talk.
Yeah.
Men do not. And I'm so sorry. Exactly. And I'm so sorry when people say, "Oh, women want to be men." I do not want to be a man because I do not want to live a life that I cannot express myself. I think that it's so sad, and I do feel a great empathy for men because I feel like I wish you guys would just talk, just let your chest out. Leave women cry, So anyway, I think that for me, just to cut it short, I would say the mental health thing. I feel like I've really tried, and I do think that there might not be many, but I have tried my best to impact women and men in the mental health space. Secondly, I would just say maybe my podcasts again. I just talk to women, younger women. I encourage people as much as I can, and yeah.
So I think one major thing that stood out for me in everything you've said is your voice. So I think your voice is a legacy, right? So you would, I think you would even out beyond the podcast, there are other ways that you'd have to cement your voice in the sands of time, right? So there was something that when you were talking about, I don't want to be a man, something just came into my head, something a friend of mine said.
No offense to the men.
No.
They said, what a man can do, they're usually saying is what a man can do, a woman can do better. She said for her, what a man can do, he should keep doing it.
Exactly.
Like just be doing it and be going. Like
Let's
don't
leave
bring it
ourselves
near me. All right, so Pastor Ogwe.
Okay. So I'm going to say two things. I think maybe that's the first. The privilege to wield the power of God through the gospel to change people's lives in different ways, starting from salvation to healings to prayers met, you know, just that privilege. I was telling someone the other day, ministry is hard, but there's nothing else I'll be doing with my life. I don't think anything else I do will bring fulfillment as much as ministry does. So I think that's the first thing that I would call a legacy. Many people downplay the role of pastors in the society, but especially in a society like Nigeria, if you take away the pastors, there would be no hope.
Yes. I would love that sinks in, right? Let it sink in everywhere.
There would be no hope.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful that I get to, by the power of God, bring hope to people. And then the second is something that is a pet project of mine, and it is this. There's so many things I'm doing, but this is not something I actively dedicate my time to do. However, it's something I've noticed. It is a form of unconscious mentorship, but it's great. And I'll preface it by saying there's a Christian philosopher. He's weird about identifying as a Christian, but he is a Christian. His name is Jordan Peterson. And he said something that I think is true. He said the world is becoming more feminine. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. However, a lot of men are losing the positive qualities of masculinity. Right?
That's true.
A lot of men are no longer men as they should be. And one of the things that I would think is a legacy is every man that I've been privileged to pastor or I'm close to turns out to be a solid guy. Like it's almost always the truth or the testimony. So yeah, that's the thing.
That's it. I love that you're snapping the fingers. That was the right moment. This is their legacy, right? I want you to think about it. If you're listening right now, what is your legacy? What are you leaving behind? What will you be known for? Or what transformation will come to the lives of people through you? Right, so I want you to think about it as we are rounding up. So you just think about it as we're rounding up. All right, so I would love to, again, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything I do or say or put out that is not, there's not a strategy or there's not some kind of deeper meaning behind it. So calling the three of you, plus one other person that I'll probably introduce her after this, members of the Legacy Roundtable. It was not just that we're looking for a name. Like, it is something that I have personally looked through each of you in-depthly, just so you know. And I can say that each and every person here, each of you seated here would have so much to do in the lives of young people, right? And I want to key into that. So I think that's the word. I want to key into that. And in a way that brings us together. So we're just starting with three, but we're going to get to a point where when we're talking about a round table, you will actually see a round table. And we are discussing how to move it probably generations forward. We're going to have conversations like that. And with that, I would like to bring up a recognition. I will not call it a certificate, but it's a recognition of being members of the Legacy Roundtable. Can we just give a round of applause as we have that come up to us? Thank you so much. For the sake of this live, I would have really loved to do this standing, but for the sake of the audiences and so we don't disrupt anything, I would just want to hand it over with all the honor that I can bring up in my body. With all that honor. So this is to Sir Alex.
I'll pass it on to him.
Pastor Alex.
Pastor, the word is already dropping. The word is dropping. And this is to Pastor Ogwe. And this is to Lady T.
Thank you
so much. And being members of this Legacy Roundtable, I want you to know that it doesn't end here. It doesn't end with this episode. So if we could just do this too. And I'm holding this for Dr. Prada. She's going to receive hers. And we're going to get a special address from her as well. So could we get a picture of all of this? It says here, today you are named as a 4-member. So if they're to say who are the people that birthed this Legacy Roundtable, I'm calling POCO, I'm calling Lady T, I'm calling Mr. Alex. Hallelujah, somebody. I want to believe pictures are taken, because All right. So thank you. So we've come to the end of this episode, and I am super glad that you stayed till this point. I want to believe that as you've listened, a lot of things in your heart, in your mind, something that you might not even have been thinking about, just shifted. Right? We have powerful people here, and as well, I believe you take questions in your DMs. You take questions in your DMs as well. So any question that you have as a guy, as
Exactly.
solid man, you should key in, right? So yes, please.
Sorry, the thing is just pressing in my mind because I told myself I was going to share the story, but just for the people that are online.
Yeah.
So just rounding this up on legacy. I was going to tell this story. I have a friend whose parents died in a plane crash 20 something years ago, so in the 90s. Both her parents just suddenly died together on a plane crash, and there were 4 of them. And as they died, 4 wealthy, influential men in this nation adopted each one of them one by one.
Amazing.
And that is, to me, the definition of legacy.
Yeah.
Because their father was not a wealthy man, but he was a man of integrity. He was a man that lived a good life for 4. Like, these are well-known names that I'm not going to mention. And they took those children, and those children are still living under them. So, like, I mean, they've grown to university, they've grown to have good lives.
Yeah.
But for me, it really just stood out to me because I'm like, what life did that man live?
Yeah.
Because you can be rich, and being rich does not mean that you're a man of integrity. There are plenty of people that their parents died today, and
that's
poor.
it. Yeah.
That's it.
But this man,
That's it.
and they rose up, men of this nation, strong men of this nation, and they took care of those children. So I think that when you're thinking about legacy, that's something that we need to think
To
about.
hold on to,
about
yes.
who will take care of my children when I leave my offspring in this world.
Yes.
Who can say that I saw this child and it's because your name? They say, your name is XYZ. Is your dad POCO? I said, yes, my dad is. And they'll be like, no, come.
Yes.
You don't need to pay rent ever again. You don't need to do this ever again. So I think that, those are the things that, we really need to think about when it comes to legacy. But yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
adding that.
much.
That was such a beautiful way to round this up. Thank you so much. And that right there was the Legacy Roundtable.